AFTERNOVA, Camping in the Ghost of a Star. 220 years ago, space terminated by categories arrived on a boat. Camping in this land, it was thought, ended. Matter judged ephemeral was replaced with material assumed to be permanent. Country, however, was obscured. It can reasonably be said an anxiety of permanence has haunted the Australian city ever since. The conservation of the perfunctory grids and their contents, marking out the elementary sites of Australia's colonies, dominated the last 25 years of urban policy and thought, little use to our contemporary urban frontier. Policymakers anticipated, then feared, the 20th century metropolis. It did not come as Jeanneret's annihilating point of light, a radiant city, but instead a diffuse and cold nebular cloud. Our urbanity might now be better regarded as unsighted dark matter, detectable only through pressure exerted upon the visible suburban terrain. What remains unconsidered, yet a real possibility, is that over the fleetingly extensive territory of our cities, sections of the fabric might empty according to a logic of economics. Other cities in other places at other times have experienced decline as catastrophe. Consider the cause of the mid-20th century American city. Is it inevitable that, though Australian cities may continue to extend, they necessarily also grow? For at least the last 100 years, infrastructure engineers, town planners, and government treasury have managed the city's growth. They have built up an expertise of expansion. Who can now begin thinking through the unthinkable? Architects, adept at turning into the wind. Country is lived through camping, a matter of time, weeks, years, centuries. In the end, these are paintings that, like certain kinds of people, are hard to respond to with too much highfalutin talk. It's not because they're dim, it's because they're too much themselves to stand for extraneous nonsense. There's a brief chapter in How to Look at a Painting, a modest but wonderful book by the New Zealand critic and curator Justin Payton, called How to Be Looked At by a Painting. It concludes, when something is puzzling or beyond belief, what we most want to do is look. And often, when we look hard enough, it can feel as though we're the ones being scrutinized. Looking at paintings is never more memorable than when one looks right back at you. Payton's right. One of the best things a painting and or drawing can do, the most important thing surely, is to shift our awareness from self-absorption and apathy toward an absorption in something outside us. If the experience is so intense that it comes full circle, so that we feel ourselves to be the ones under scrutiny, we're really onto something. It's all about hard looking. But a drawing has to make you want to look hard. And so, for architects, the big question is how? There's more to it, needless to say, than drawing a city plan with eyes that follow you round the room or wowing your audience with detail. At present, even though it seems freshly alive, painting and or drawing still finds itself in a kind of historical quandary. The big rhetoric that produced manifestos and carved out reputations throughout the 20th century feels broken, discredited. Questions of style and subject matter have never seemed more up for grabs. Architects, as a result, are faced with a sort of ordeal of choice.